Hello everyone, welcome to a new session. So similar to the last problem, today also we solve a problem from LeetCode. It is top k frequent elements that we can use a dictionary to solve this problem. So it says given an integer array nums and an integer k, return the k most frequent elements. You may return the answer in any order. So, for example, here is a list nums 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and now k is given 2. That means the two numbers with the highest frequencies, and their output is 1 and 2. Why? Because the frequency of 1 it is 1, 2, 3. It is 3 times. 2, 2 it is 2 times. 3 it is 1 time. So the two highest number with highest frequency is 1 and 2, because 1 is 3 times, 2 is 2 times. It is the lowest one. So we need to return 1 and 2. So similar to the last problem, we can use a dictionary. Let me clear this. Okay. So we can use a dictionary and like this. First, we need to get the frequency of each number. For example, we need to go through this list. We take, of course, a for loop or any loop. We need to loop through this list. And for example, we say number 1. Number 1, what is the frequency of number 1? So we need to go through this list, and each time, for example, that when we are in the first element, so the value is 1, and when we go to the second one, then it becomes 2. When you go to the third one, so we need to update it to 3, and if there is any more number 1, so we need to update it. But for now, there are 3, 1. And then number 2. So number 2, you are looping through this. When you come here, it is 1 and it is 2. First it was 1 like this, and then when you come to the second 2, so we need to update that and make it 2. And number 3, so there is only 1. So now when you create this dictionary, so you need to get the k element. K is 2 here. That means 2 of these keys with the highest frequency, which is number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is repeated 3 times. Number 2 is repeated 2 times. Number 3 is repeated only 1. It is not repeated. There is only 1, number 3. So now it is up to you how you are good at manipulating and using dictionary. So you need to get now you need to go through this dictionary and get the 2 key with the highest value, which is number 1 and number 2. So now let's come here and start solving this. So first create a dictionary like this, and it is a dictionary that shows frequencies. So type it frequency. Okay. So it is our dictionary. Now we need to loop through this list and add the value for each of these keys, for each of the element in the list. So we say for n and nums, n and nums. So now that we are at number 1, we need to update the value of number 1 in frequency. So we say frequency at number 1, which is n in the first place, equals frequency dot get. So first you check if this number, for example number 1, if it has a value, first get that value, then add a number to that current value. For example, right now in the first time, number 1, the value is 0, so you add 1. And when you come to number 1 for the second time, so it has already the value 1, so you need to update that value 1 to number 2. That means you need to add 1. So first num, and the value is 0 plus 1. So this way you can loop through this, and each time you first get the value, the current value. So because in the first place you don't have any value here, and if you don't specify anything, so it gives you null. For that reason, it is not num, it is n, actually n. So get frequency of n, which is number 1. So at the first time it is 0, so you make it plus 1. And the second time, when you get the frequency of number 1, that is number 1 already the value, so you make it plus 1. That means it becomes 2. Okay, so that's when you get the frequency of each number. So now you need to check your frequency dictionary and get the k numbers, which is two numbers with the highest frequencies. So let's create an array to add those numbers into that array. So we say, let's say result equals, now it is an empty array. So we need to get 2 of the highest ones. So we need to, that means we need to loop through this dictionary 2 times. One time that we loop, the first time we loop, we get the highest number, the highest frequency, and the second time that we loop through this, we get the second highest frequency. So how we can do that? So we can loop through this for in range k times. So we need to have some iterators to keep track of them. So let's create one variable for the highest value, highest frequency. So at the first time it is -1, and when we get the highest value, for example we get the number 2, so we need to get the number, the key also somewhere, and store that, because we need to add this key in the list at the end. So we say most frequent number, most frequent number equals, so at first it is none. So now let's go through these dictionaries. We say for, so when you look through these dictionaries, you need to get both the key and the values. So you need to get the number itself and its frequency or value, frequency. So in order not to make confusion with this, between this frequency and this frequency, I will use freq, or make these frequencies. I think that would be much better. But now let's use this. So in frequency dot items, so we need to go through the items now. So you, each time you check if frequency freq is greater than highest frequency, highest frequency. If it is greater than that, then update the value highest frequency equals freq, and now keep the key also. Most frequent num equals n, num, because here we have num. So when you get the highest numbers, now you need to add them into your result array. Result dot append most frequent number, most frequent number. And so the first time when you get that the most frequent is number 1, so you need to delete it. So for the second loop, it is not being checked, so we can get the second highest. So first add we added result, and now we delete that, delete frequency, most frequent number, and at the end return result. Okay, I hope everything is right, but let's run and see what happens. So what does it say? Is not defined. Most frequent frequent. Yes, all of them passed. Now let's submit it. Okay, accepted. So it was the brute force approach. Of course, it is not the most optimized one, but now we are getting preparation for interviews, and during the interview, the interviewer most of the time is looking if you have understood the problem or not, how good you are at manipulating all the tools that you have. They are not looking for the optimized solution, because once you understand the problem, you have more time to optimize that, and during the interview you don't have time to think of optimization. Of course, if you can come up to some optimized solution, that is much better, but during the interview the main point is that the interviewer wants to know if you have understood the problem, and he or she wants to know your problem solving skill. That is why I chose this brute force approach, and I hope it was useful. However, if there is any question, you can ask them and I will answer your questions. Thank you. Until the next session.